Hello, YouTube land. As you can tell, I've got the fan going. Hang on. Oh, turn that off for just a minute. It looks a little dark in here today. It's not necessarily that I'm trying to keep everything dark. It's just that I'm keeping as many of the shades closed as possible because it keeps out, I think, maybe 10 degrees worth of the heat, in my estimation. I think the cat is chasing a bug, hopping around like a dinosaur. What else? I just got back from Maine. Did you catch something? I just got back from Maine on Saturday. Sorry. Went to see my sister for her operation and spent time with my folks, spent time with our nephew, and it was fun. Although I have to say, my dad had warned me, sorry, reflection, I keep forgetting. My dad had warned me that he had had some strange encounters with my aunt and uncle, who are my sister's parents. Long story. In any event, that when he had been up there spending time, you know, he's one of the grandparents, and the mom, my aunt, you know, and uncle had been giving him little, you know, oh, you know, you gotta do this if you're gonna change him, and oh, you know, you gotta do it this way if you're gonna feed him, and just, you know, being very Hawkeye, kind of, I don't know if you want to call it controlling or not, but just, you know, we assume you're out of practice and don't know what you're doing. So he had warned me that that had been his experience, and I may be overstating it a little, I'm not positive. But I noticed when I was there, that was not remotely the case. My dad is a very genial kind of a person. He's very laid back, which is not to say that everyone and anyone can run over him, but he just doesn't like being confrontational. I have no such problem. But I also have a personality that doesn't really leave a lot of negotiable room for people to give me crap about stuff. So I don't start something like I don't know what I'm doing, because if I don't know what I'm doing, I don't start. So when I was spending time at their house, one of the nights I was up in Maine, I just behave the way I normally behave, which is I know exactly what I'm doing or I wouldn't do it. And if and when I decide I want or need your help, I'll ask for it. Don't offer. And apparently that attitude came across loud and clear. I was feeding him, I was changing him, I was playing with him, and her parents didn't say boo to me. I mean, they were thrilled I was there. They were happy that, you know, they could confidently, completely trust that I had my eye on him. I wasn't going to let him hurt himself. I wasn't going to, you know, feed him coffee or something. He obviously got along with me. He obviously took to me. I mean, I'm his aunt, yeah, but babies can tell when someone's full of, you know? And our nephew doesn't react like I'm someone to worry about. I mean, he's a baby. He's less than a year old, so yeah, he was a little fussy at a couple of points, but every time I put him down somewhere, like the second day my dad came back to pick me up, by the way, big props to my dad, he made an hour-and-a-half one-way drive 2 days in a row. That's an additional like 6 hours on the road over 2 days, because I didn't drive up. I had to take the bus. So, big props to him. But when he came up the second day, he was holding our nephew, and he was, you know, kind of just bouncing him on his knee a little bit. He's a grandpa, you know? And I walked over and I said to him, "Are you having fun sitting with Grandpa?" And our nephew just kind of looked up at me, and just every time he would see me, you know, just holding his arms up at me, like, "Pick me up, Auntie, pick me up, I want you to hold me." So I spent most of my time wrecking my back carrying him around, you know, or walking with him or feeding him or something. And he's not, I mean, he's a baby, again, he's a little messy when he eats, but he wasn't being fussy with me, he wasn't throwing food around, he wasn't smacking his little spoon out of my hand. You know, all I had to do was look him in the face and go, nom, 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 and hold the spoon out for him, and he would lean forward and go, mm. So I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't have kids yet. My younger sister, who I was visiting, has a son, our nephew. So she won the race of getting married first, then she got married again. And she won the race of which of us has kids first, which is still kind of a sore spot for me, but not as bad as it was. But I was glad to see all of them, you know. Gave my sister a little bit of a kick in the ass, which she always needs. I think it's just a general law of the universe about siblings. If you're the older sibling, whether or not you have your life completely together, you're responsible for keeping the younger ones in line. You're responsible for being the one to help. You're responsible for being the one they ask advice, if for no other reason than you have just plain and simple been alive longer than they have. In some fashion or another, you did it before they did. Although, you know, in my sister's case, she was a bit of a gun jumper. But it's fine. So I took the bus Wednesday morning, stayed Wednesday night at my parents', went up Thursday, stayed Thursday night at my sister's, came home Friday, spent Friday night at my parents', and then took the bus home on Saturday. And I basically had no time to myself. I got to eat at some of my favorite places that I always eat at when I'm back in Maine. And it's interchangeable. There are times where I say, oh, well, you know, when I was back in Portland, or, you know, well, I went home to see my family, but I want to go home to New York now. Home is a relative term, and it's subjective. So for me, home is when I'm somewhere with people I expect to spend some sort of familial time with. And I say familial because of how complicated my family web is. So, you know, it's just as easy for me to say, oh, I'm going to go home and see my nephew and my sister and all that. And I'm talking about going up to Maine because people I consider my family are there. And then by the end of the trip, I told this to my mom more than once. I was like, I really want to go home. I miss my husband. And my dad, he's a needler. He likes to bait. He's been doing it to me my whole damn life. Hi, Tribble. Hi, baby. And he was making jokes, stupid ones. Dad's sense of humor. Unfortunately for him, they were about my husband. And it's one thing to make fun of me, especially if you're doing it to my face, which he often is, because then I can turn around and come back at you. I can turn around and flat out smack you for being a jack. But you can't make fun of people when they're not there, especially if it's family. My husband is his son-in-law. And I don't care if he thinks it's, you know, cute or funny or, well, you know, it's all in good fun. Bull. It's not fun for me. I don't like hearing him make jokes about Sam. If Sam's there, I mean, we visit twice a year. If Sam's there and Dad pokes fun at him and Sam doesn't respond, I let it go. If it doesn't bother him, it's not for me to get in my dad's face. But if Sam's not there, man, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. You know, if I did that, you'd be the first one to land on me. If I did something to make fun of Mom when she wasn't around, you'd snap. Just the same way I'm confident Mom would do the same when I, you know, make jokes about... And she's done this. I don't think he realizes this. As much history and experience as my dad and I have with each other, if my mom and I are together and I start railing on about him, whether it's a minor rant or a major rail, she'll shut me down. My mom will honestly get in my face and go, yeah, but you know what? Your dad is a good guy, and he really has the best of intentions, and his approach sucks sometimes, true, but you can never fault his intent. All he ever wanted was the best for you girls. And she'll just shut me down. So, you know, he needs to suck it up and deal if he doesn't like it when I come back at him for his behavior. It's how you're supposed to handle it when someone says something you don't like about your spouse. But in any event, I've been talking for a while now. Trips to see the family are just, they give you so much ammunition and so much to say. But it was 90 yesterday. It's supposed to be upwards of 90 today again. I have to go out and do something, which sucks. And I'll give Sam credit right now. He called it. When we basically had no winter to speak of this past winter, he said, man, summer's gonna suck. It's gonna suck, it's gonna suck, it's gonna suck. So bad. It's going to be hellacious. And he's right. I mean, doesn't have to have a meteorologic degree to be able to say if you don't have one drastic season, the other one is going to be significantly altered. So, I am preparing myself for the hell on earth that 90-degree heat wave days will induce. I have to be drastically minimal in how I spend time outside, and I feel bad about that because it means I can't really take Sam to the beach on the weekend, and I can't do very many fun things because it's not even just my asthma or just my weight. I really am crippled by heat. There's something overall about my physiology that above 70 degrees, I start to stop functioning. Beyond 80 degrees, I really shouldn't be leaving the house without considering it self-inflicted torture. Anything above 85, I live in the air conditioner. Period. If I need it, I'll go out at night. I'll find the 24-hour market. I'm not going anywhere in the daylight. Are you out of your mind? Hell no. Alright, well, I have things to do before I walk out the door to this appointment, so that's it for today. I will see you all next time. I look forward to any comments, questions, or arguments you wish to pick or start. And, yeah, I'm not looking forward to going outside. I hope it's more comfortable where you are.